Hey there, listeners. Welcome to Socially Inclined, where we believe marketing should be simple, effective, and most importantly, affordable. In this episode, we'll be sharing expert tips and strategies to help you increase your visibility, engage more of your audience, and reach more clients than ever before. So if you're ready to take your online presence to the next level, keep listening because you're about to get socially inclined. Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. Jess here from Socially Inclined. And today I have some really great content for you. Yeah. Okay. So that was a little cheesy, but I think you're going to like this one. So we get all the time small business owners that come to us at Socially Inclined that tell us, I have no idea how to write good content. What am I supposed to post? How do I reach my audience when I can't even get my message out there? Well, today I'm going to talk about several, whoops, I didn't count them ahead of time, but I have several ways to create great content without writing a single word. I hope you just got as excited as I did. I even got like little chill bumps. Ugh, I'm such a social media nerd. Anyway, have you ever heard the phrase, content is king? It's such a popular phrase. In fact, I'd be willing to bet you've heard it at least 10 times, if not hundreds of times, especially if you're one of those solopreneurs who tries to do things yourself and maybe you've looked up how to create content before, you will always hear that content is king. And that's because, I hate to tell you, it's true. You know it's true, I know it's true, but what do you do when content writing is hard, when writing isn't your strong suit, and when it just downright sucks that you have to write this content and get it out there to your audience so that you can attract your people? What if the very thought of creating blog posts and social media posts make you cringe? How do you move forward when you have that kind of hurdle in front of you as a small business owner? It's hard. It's hard. So if that's you and you're like shaking your head, yeah, girl, that's me. I'm glad you're here listening, because what if I told you that you can create some great content that's really compelling without having to write a single word yourself? It is completely possible, and while yes, we do sell done-for-you social media content, I want to tell you right now, most of what I'm going to talk today, I'd say 90%, is not about our content or buying pre-made content. I'm going to show you some good, or I'm going to talk to you about some good ideas of how to create a treasure trove of compelling content without having to write it yourself. And I really think it's going to turn that I hate writing content strategy on its head. So we're going to go past traditional written content, right? And we'll talk about a few things like user-generated content. I'm going to go into a little detail about that. Don't forget, though, I do have a podcast earlier in this season about UGC, so make sure that you go back and listen to that one as well. How to curate content. We're going to talk a little bit about visuals and just how powerful they are. And then we're going to talk about the all-important repurposing the content that you have, because I think we all have a little bit of a problem feeling like we have to come up with new and exciting stuff, when really, if you just kind of repurpose it the right way, it is new and exciting. So get ready for some powerful things coming at you right now. So first up, visual content. Let's talk about the basics. A picture's worth 1,000 words, right? It is really cliche, but just like the content is king cliche, it's also really true. So we're just going to go ahead and acknowledge that right up front. Visuals are very important. For instance, think about the last time you were just like, you saw this amazing infographic, or you saw this beautiful picture that had you stop your scroll on social media. Visuals have a way of communicating with the human brain in a way that makes things so much more memorable, specifically and very importantly, your message. So, and in an era with attention spans being seconds, creating impactful visuals like this is one of the best ways to catch your audience eyes and to get them to slow down. Where do you create visual content when you don't have a bunch of money to spend, Jess? Well, our favorite tool is, and probably will always be, Canva, because it's great. It's easy to use. When we have new VAs who come in to help us at Socially Inclined and they have no idea about like Adobe or Corel or some of the more advanced ones, Photoshop, Canva, they can hop in and they can learn, and if they can do it, so can you. So they provide really easy to use user interfaces, and man, the professional designs you can get there is just great. Even when you're a beginner, I promise you can do it. So if you're not on Canva, make sure you go start you a free account. So something to consider is if you need some more help with that, you can grab some content from a store. Yes, the Get Socially Inclined store. We do all of our content in Canva. And the reason that I bring that up, or we don't do all of our content, we do have some older content that isn't in Canva, but the reason I bring that up right here when we're talking about visual content is because when you click that template link, all of those 200 designs that Julie or I or someone on our team designed pop into your Canva as a template. So starting from a template is really what this point is about, instead of feeling like you have to start from that blank design in Canva or in Adobe or wherever it is. But really, it's all about finding the right service that shares your mission and your vision that can really help bring your content and your industry to life. All right, first one, visual content. Doesn't have to have copy to it to be effective, right? Second one, curated content. Not all content has to come from the tip of your fingertips. The art of curating content is really powerful. And curated content is when you find, you filter, and you share content from top-notch sources. So in this process, you position your brand as a knowledgeable guide, right? A curator, if you will, leading your audience to valuable insights. So you have to be careful about this because you don't want to necessarily share a direct competitor's content, even if it's fantastic. But finding things that fit into your content bucket or that may be parallel with what your ideal client is interested in. What is your audience looking for? And remember, just as every good guide does, make sure that you add your unique insight to it rather than just saying, hey, here's this link, you should check it out. Read it, give them a little blurb, tell them why you agree with it, and curate it for them. And that's where curated content can really make you look like a badass professional who knows what they're talking about. And that's the side of the fence that you really want to be on. So curated content, very important. Don't have to do much work at all there. So user-generated content is number 3. And user-generated content, if you want the in and out of UGC, go listen to that podcast. I talked about why you should get it, where you can get it, how you can get it, etc., what you do with it. But user-generated content is some of the most powerful content, and it's also some that you don't have to work for because your audience and your customers are doing it for you. So think about UGC as a love letter for your brand, to your brand. It's candid, it's authentic, and it is brimming with word-of-mouth persuasive power. So how do you get these love letters? I'll just give it to you in a nutshell. But make sure you go download that episode and listen to it later. Encourage your customers to share their experiences. Create a social media challenge, whatever you got to do. Ask for reviews And once you get a piece of UGC, you share that, and it gives customers a sense of, oh, she's listening. Oh, wow. And their participation really will skyrocket when you do that, because they'll feel like you care and they feel like they're part of something bigger than just your bottom line, which is really that's a good side of the fence to be on too. So next, this one is one of my personal favorites because they are so casual, or they can be, social media stories and live sessions. Social media stories more so than live sessions, but they are your backstage pass into your audience's daily scroll. Let's put it that way. They're fun, spontaneous, and they let you interact with your audience in real time. From, let's say you give a sneak peek into your workday or your life, you give a live Q&A, that gives a slice of authenticity that's really hard to replicate in just a cold cut piece of content world. So social media stories on Instagram, Facebook, and actually LinkedIn as well, they're a great place for sharing these quick updates or behind the scenes peeks, or kind of teasing future content, right? In my last podcast, if you listen to that one, teasing what's coming up in your social media stories is a fantastic way to stoke the algorithm and get your content on more news feeds in the first place. So live sessions, on the other hand, offer real-time interaction with your audience. And that's really, if you need to build more trust, if you need to build more credibility, if you need to look more like a human, then do some real-time interaction through a live session. And that just means going live and hosting a Q&A session, inviting, a colleague, a team member, or another expert to do a live chat with you. You can conduct a demo of your product, or it'd be kind of hard to do a demo of your service without just looking like self-serving. Or you can simply talk about your day if you're into that. I can think of several industries right off the bat where simply talking about your day is effective. Anyone who's a mompreneur, you want to talk about what it's like being a mompreneur and having kids at the same time, you are going to have all those mompreneurs on the bandwagon as well. The possibilities, though, are really endless for these live sessions. I can't really, every time Julie and I go live, we have to really dig deep and brainstorm to find something we haven't gone live about yet, because everything is on the table and everything has a good opportunity to reach someone new. The other great thing is it gives you instant feedback. You'll know immediately if it was a flop or a success. Next, and similarly, video content. It's king right now. But video content it's storytelling in probably the most engaging form right now. Whether it's a product demo, a behind the scenes, maybe it's a testimonial, maybe it's you teaching something or bringing your brand to life. There are so many tools out there that make video creation a breeze. The native ones in Instagram and Facebook are pretty robust. If you're looking for something else, there's of course CapCut, Promo, Veed. All of those have free options that can really send your video content through the roof. And we're actually working on, if you go look at our feeds right now, this second, it's the very end of July in 2023, we're doing video content, but it is uphill that battle because we certainly need more bandwidth to do it. But we're certainly getting there as well. So one thing at a time. Collaborations and interviews. These are really great for building your authority. You just have to make sure you find a collaborator who aligns with your brand's values, because you don't want to be off topic. If you have a captive audience who's interested in your niche and you bring in a industry professional who has a different tone, who maybe you're positive pants and he's negative Nancy, you might want to rethink that collaborative interview for sure. And finally, one of my favorites, repurposing your existing content. This is probably the most powerful one, guys, girls, ladies, gents. Repurposing what you have. It gets overlooked so often. But what's better than great content? Great content that grows legs and keeps on walking, right? You want that content to keep working for you. So repurposing lets you squeeze more value from the content that you have. And we are experts at repurposing content here at Socially Inclined because we've had to be. We're a two-person team with some VA and some help on the outside. But what we do, we're kind of famous for, is we'll take a blog post, or we'll take this podcast and we'll turn it into a blog, and then we'll turn that blog into an infographic, and we'll turn that infographic into a reel and an Instagram carousel, and then we'll turn that concept into a webinar and turn that webinar into clips, and then we'll take the highlights of the blog post and put them into a tweet, and now we can take that tweet and turn it into a tweet thread. There's just if you can start with a good chunk of content, like that's why we always love to suggest that small business owners have a blog. If you can take that blog and learn how to repurpose it effectively, you can just have limitless amounts of content. And every time you repurpose content in this way, you extend the lifespan of your content and you reach a wider audience, which is everyone's goal. Finally, I'm going to throw this one out there. Buy some content. Buy some. We are exceptional at creating content here at Socially Inclined. We have thousands of done-for-you posts with Canva templates across a wide variety of industries in our store at getsociallyinclined.com. You can also find us on Etsy, Socially Inclined, the Socially Inclined store. Buy some content. Save some time, save some money, because our content bundles are way less expensive than hiring us to create graphics for you one-off. But get your hands on some done-for-you content and schedule it up in our dashboard. Why not? And watch how much time and money you can save, and you'll really be wondering why you did it the hard way for so long. But getting your hands on some content that's already done, whether you are we just put up a mental health bundle for all of our counselors and therapists, or if you do Pampered Chef, we have a really popular content bundle of 200 cooking posts that are for anyone in the cooking industry, cooking niche. It doesn't matter what industry you are. Go check it out, because I bet you we have something that can help save you some time. And if you're here listening to this podcast, 5 ways or however many ways to not have to write a word for your content, I bet you're looking for some content shortcuts. So make sure you go check those out too when you finish listening. So there you have it, your ticket to getting out of the blank page syndrome and into this really awesome world of not having to write content, not lifting much of a finger. Just remember that content creation is, no matter what industry you're in, content creation is about adding value. You absolutely must be adding value. And there's really no limit to the ways that you can do that without having to write. Get over your fear, because you can be successful without having to write. So as a small business owner, your time is most precious, the most precious resource. So these techniques don't just offer an escape from having to write, but they also let you create content efficiently and effectively, which is what we're all about here at Socially Inclined. So stop waiting and start experimenting with these tips and techniques that I shared with you today. Let me know how it went. Send me a podcast or send me an email. You can reach me, podcast@sociallyinclined.com, and let me know what you discovered about your content creation abilities. Let me know if you had fun, if you thought it was impactful, and certainly if it was less work than you thought it had to be. I would love to hear about that. So if you haven't already, make sure that you follow us, follow this podcast, and leave us a review. I would love to hear that as well. And I will see you on the next episode.